My name is Mary Wilcox. I know Jess through the barn, not the bar, but the barn. And I've known her for a couple years, but just like the past probably year and a half, I've really gotten to know her more. I think for marriage, the one thing I would say to you, it's worked for me, I've been married 24 years, is spend time together, but also, and I think you guys are heading down the right road, make sure you have your time to yourself to do the hobbies that you like to do. I mean, obviously my husband's not into horses, but I have my horses and he has his things. And make sure you do things that you enjoy. And it doesn't always have to be together, but then always make sure you have time together. That's worked for me. So.
My name is Cindy Lenos. Jessica is my niece. Can't believe she's old enough to get married. Wow, that's crazy. Jess, my advice to you, you hear it all the time, but there are a couple of things. And the first one is, don't go to bed mad at each other. And I think it's really important, one of the things, you know, Nick and I have been married a while too, and I think it's really important to always let each other know where you're going. I mean, you don't necessarily, not like keeping tabs on each other or anything, but just as a courtesy, let them know, I'll be here, I'll be there, in case they're worried about you, or you know, if Andrew has to check on you, or you check on him, kind of thing. Not in a bad way, just always let each other know where you are. And say, I love you a lot. That's important.
But my advice to you would be, there's so many things. Just always love each other and express your love. Don't ever forget to do the things that you do now as your marriage continues. You know, do those same things that you did in your courtship, you know, as many as you can to keep that love alive, and to accept differences, because you're going to be two totally different people trying to live together in one house. I mean, Mike and I were city girl meets country boy, okay? It was just, we were totally different, but you know, you have to accept and embrace the differences in each other, and because you're not going to, there's things you're not going to change. Don't always be on a mission to change them, but accept them. And just always express your love, and don't ever forget, you know, hold hands, and no matter how long, we've been married 35 years, so that's just important. Important expressing love.
This year, and important thing is, we always went to church together, we prayed together, and you still have your differences. He's always an hour late, I'm always an hour early. That was hard to adjust to. But anyway, that's not that serious, but you just need to talk and work things out, love each other, and be patient.
I'm Linda Billman, and Jess and her grandma and grandpa and her mom and dad sit in front of us in church every Sunday. So that's how I know Jess. And you know, there's a lot of things that go into a marriage. We just celebrated 50 years together, Jim and I have. And I have to say, he's my best friend. And we went to a class reunion of his not too long ago, and when he introduced me, everybody was introducing their wives and everything, and he says, I brought my best friend with me tonight. And I thought, you know, after 50 years, if he can still say that, we've done something great. But the key is communication. You have to be able to communicate with one another. And I think that that's important, and always stay their best friend.
I don't know how long you guys have been dating, but I know a lot now. So you've gotten to know each other in some ways, but there's lots of ways you don't know each other yet. But you have lots of surprises in store for you. And hopefully most of those are good surprises. But there'll be a few that catch you off guard. And you just have to look over a lot of things sometimes, because like a lot of the ladies here that have been married many years, I think it starts with friendship. And I think if your love doesn't start with friendship, it's not going to last very long. It just you have to be best friends, I think, before you can really share a life together. And just always remember to say I love you. Don't ever go through a day miffed at each other for some silly little reason, because usually there's silly little reasons. And later down the road, you can't even remember why you were mad. And if that's the case, then why not speak to each other about it? Talk it out, get it off your chest, and hug each other, and get over it, get past it, and go on with what God has intended for you to do. So just enjoy each other. Enjoy each other and enjoy each step of your life, because each step is so different. Each phase of your life is so different. You start together as two, and then you end together as two. There's all that big area in between where you have family and all that. Then it comes back to just two again. So you better keep that relationship going that was like when you just had two, because it's going to be real important when you get older and it's back to just two. So, but we wish you all the best in your future together. God bless you.
My name is Ruth Bing, and I know Jess come to church with her. And I would say, love the Lord, stay in church. It'll work out.
My name is Nancy Coons, and I'm at Jesse from church. I've been married 55 years, well, we'll be 55 in December. And you can't, I think you need to talk things out. And when you have that argument, which you will, you sit back and think about their side. That's the big thing, I think. You always think about me. Sit back and think about how they feel and what their side is, and just talk things out.
I always felt like to have a good marriage, a person needs to just have determination to make it through and ask the Lord for help when you need. And the church was always a big help to me, so I call on, your friends at church and people that you know real well, and I think you'll make it.
I've been married 33 years, and I think it takes patience, which I think sometimes I lack patience in a marriage. But I agree with Mary. I think it's good to have your own interests. You have to be passionate, makes you passionate, and support each other, though, in your whatever interests that you do. I think that's it. Patience is probably the most important thing, I think.
I'm Beth Tuttle, Andrew's mother, and we do have to say that Andy has picked a wonderful. And I guess in our marriage, we have put God first in everything. And we've had a wonderful marriage. And I know you're going to have it too.
That probably made some puzzle pieces click. Okay, so I'm not married yet, so, but my advice so far for our relationship is just, the traits that, make up a good relationship so far for us has just been to work on your morals, your kindness and your empathy, and just to always try and stretch those as far as you can, just to always try and be more patient. How can I be more kind? How can I be more empathetic? And whenever you look at yourself and say, how, if you see yourself getting comfortable, I think the other person should try and be me on this one, or if you see yourself getting too comfortable, then you've already failed, and you should always just try and look for ways to stretch yourself and be more patient, more kind. And I think you mentioned to look at a couple you see that's succeeding and look to them. And honestly, I think Jess has a great always doing sweet things for each other. They're always doing favors and going out of their way for each other. I think if you two are your parents, you're going to be fine.
I'm Janine, Jess's mom, and I can't give her too much advice because I give her advice all the time, and she gets quite sick of hearing it. She tunes me out. But we just are very grateful for her and Andrew and wish them all the best, and I think they're on the right track. And my husband and I have been married for 33 years, if I'm counting right this year, which I think I'm bad at numbers. But anyway, yes, everything everybody has said has been so important and right on track. Patience and listening and working things out. Nothing is ever easy. It's never the same. The little glow goes away real fast. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just reality. When you set into the everyday living, you think, I mean, it is a lot of work. And it's a lot of fun, and it just, you have to work at keeping it fresh. And like Susan said too, keeping your own interest and supporting each other. All those things matter. And it keeps it fresh and it keeps it going because it's a commitment to make it work. And that's a good thing. It's pretty good for both of you because we're going to be empty nesters after this year. So it's going to be the two of us again. But anyway, Jess, we love you and wish you and Andrew the best.
Hi, I'm Kaylee. I've been part of Jess's barn family for like 12 years. So that's how I know her. I don't really have any advice because I'm like 19, but but I just love seeing him at the barn and how great he's been with horses. So keep him around. I like him. Yeah, he's getting keep trained. He likes to be what do you call that? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Mitchell. I've been part of Jess's barn family also for 12 years. And my husband and I have been married for 21 years. And I guess what I would say to you is sometimes things aren't going to be so great. You're going to go through a lot of changes. Maybe things will happen like a job change or death of a parent or somebody close to him. And this just recently happened to us. We went through 2 weeks of it. And I would say you can't fix it. All you can do is just be there and hold his hand, listen to him when he's going through something. And I did all that. I did all the driving because it was like an hour-and-a-half drive each way. I did everything I could. I got his suits ready just to make the transition easier for him. You can't really make it better, you know, when something like that happens. You just have to be there and listen. Maybe, you know, just listen. And then what we decided to do yesterday was just take a break from all that mourning and tragedy that we had to go through. Him and I loaded up the dogs, put the windows down, took them to get ice cream, and we turned on all the music as loud as we could turn it on, and we sang. We couldn't sing to save our life, but we sang, and we had such a good day, and by the end of the day, we all slept easy. So that's what I would say to you, is you can't always fix it, but just be there.
Hi, Jess. I'm Jill. I'm one of the barn family. I guess the most thing is patience. With whatever happens, just have patience, and you'll do just fine.
I'm Angelica, and I'm one of the crazy barn people just in the much surprised, but I guess be just like try not to be selfish, and like you guys are gonna have different interests and things, and like be into whatever he likes, whatever makes him happy, and he should be be into whatever you like, horses and stuff. And if he ever makes you mad, just go to the barn, play with your other boys, and we go.
I'm Lindsay Hildenbrand. I used to be Jess's roommate in college at Mount Vernon for a couple of years. I don't really know what to say for advice. Everybody else had really good advice. I would definitely agree with patience though, because I know that both of us could learn for patience. But just keep the love in everything. Even when you're mad, you still gotta love it. Stuck with it.
just a couple of things I think of is, I agree with Andrew's mom. I think Jess is a terrific girl, and I'm always happy when she's over at our house and we have girl time, and we could just sit on the couch and talk, and she's a sweet spirit, and she's so thoughtful. And as I think of just the beautiful young lady you are, you know, take how you treat your friends and you take that into your marriage. You are thoughtful, you do consider others, and you are great at communicating. And I do think you had a great example in your parents. I agree with Bethany. So many times Shannon came home from your house or a camping trip, and your parents were right there, and you guys were together as a family, but the friends were included in, and Shannon had so many giggles over something your dad did, or talking about, you know, the great meal you guys had. But it was always like just that family. Your parents took, you know, who they are, and they put the best into you and Stephen, and then it just seems like there was always something funny or welcoming. And then also your grandpa. You have a lot of great family there that, you know, as long as you have a teachable spirit and you are true to the person you are, Jess, I see you carrying that over into your marriage, and there are going to be hard times. But most importantly, go to God. I would say, don't go and complain to 6 people about something you're upset with Andrew did. Honey, your first loyalty is to him and God. So go to God and say, God, you know, just be honest and say, I'm upset with Andrew because, and it's amazing how God's going to pour out his grace and love over that situation. And maybe something that was a big difference for you, you'll realize that it was really nothing after all. So just God in your life, that prayer, and then I really think that, you know, between you and your family, you guys are going to be, Andrew's going to fit in wonderfully in the days ahead.
Hi, I'm Karen. I am Jesse's aunt and Janine's sister. So Jesse has just been such a blessing as a niece. We have many special memories. As far as advice, everybody said it all. I don't know what else to say other than you're not. It's not all about you anymore. It's about, and that's a problem I have. It's like I was worried about my issues, and I'm not the first one. I need to think about my husband. It's just not about you anymore, and it's about give and take. And you don't always like each other, but you love each other, and you work through everything, and it's for keeps. But you're going to be just fine. But yeah, you guys are going to be great. So, we have a hiding face here. Denali, come on, just introduce yourself.
So second cousin, right here. I'm the oldest cousin on this side. I am her dad, my dad is her mom's brother. So my advice is coming from me and my mom. We've been through some really, really difficult times, marriage-wise. So love is not always a feeling. Sometimes it's a choice that you have to make. So if you remember to always choose to love each other, I think you'll be fine. My parents were divorced for about 6 years, and then they remarried each other. And a huge reason that happened was because they were able to forgive, and they were able to find fault in themselves instead of each other. And they were able to accept and forgive each other, and they were able to set aside selfishness, and their marriage
marriage is stronger than I've ever seen, and it's amazing. So if you can do that, you won't even have to have those stuff.
Turn around. Turn around.
Gabrielle, I'm her cousin.
I am Tracy, and Jessie is my niece. And after everything everybody said, I think what sticks out most in my mind is you need to have your different interests, but you also are going to have different personalities. And so you're going to have times where you really get along, and you're going to have times when you really clash. But what I would say most is embrace who Andrew is and love him for who he is and not for what he isn't. And I've been married for 22 years, and there are still things that I'm finding out about Uncle Mike that I never knew before. So even after all these years, you think you know who he is, you'll still discover there are things to learn about him. And I think just embrace Andrew